But so getting back to whatever point it was we were trying to make, I can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't know anymore. But I mean, when I think of when I think of a moment from a horror movie that really makes me stand on end and really kind of makes me shiver, I think of that scene near the end of the original Halloween, where you think it's over, and you think he's dead,
and you're just starting to relax, and then you see him get back up.
Just quietly, just lean up, and he just turns and looks at her.
Turn around, bitch! He's gonna kill you.
It's such subtlety. Like that, that just makes you go, oh God, that's so good. I would love to be able to do something like that. Or kind of makes you question, like, why can't we see, more?
Because the Hollywood hack machine won't let that happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are.
There are some good things.
Few exceptions.
Yeah, they do get things right every now and then, but it's usually by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that I wouldn't watch movies anymore, because that's what we do, but...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
I'm just saying, they retread a lot of old stuff. Oh, speaking of which, do you know they're remaking Carrie again?
Yep. I saw the trailer for it, and the trailer was pretty much the entire movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was kind of when I was like, really? Haven't you guys, remade this movie 5 fucking times already?
Yeah, and sometimes they've done it with an entirely different movie. There was the Friday the 13th movie that had Carrie in it.
Mm-hmm.
But...
I mean, yes, Stephen King is a good actor. Good writer, not actor.
Writer. Yeah. Close.
Yeah. He's a good writer, and that was one of his better novels. It's the one that basically got him famous to begin with.
Really?
Yeah, I actually saw it on his biography. That's the one that kind of got him going. That's the one that he actually first made money on.
Oh, okay.
Was Carrie.
Yeah.
But Jesus, he's done other stuff. He's even written some new stuff here recently.
Yeah.
Make a movie about that.
We have a very limited imagination here at Hollywood, so we're just gonna keep on retreading old territory, and
maybe we'll capture the magic of the original. No, you won't.
Yeah.
It's very rarely do you do.
Yeah. I mean, I have gotten really tired of just all of the remakes that they keep doing. And they've been doing a lot of them. Now,
I know.
Now, and there can be some examples of some remakes that were good. I mean, hell, John Carpenter's The Thing was a remake.
Yeah, and that one was a good one. The recent Evil Dead movie was a remake, and that's a good one.
That was actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, because I actually didn't think it was going to be good, just from the trailers I seen from it.
Yeah, well, and like just from the idea of like, hey, let's just remake everything, and
yeah,
like, Jesus Christ, really?
And they actually
did a really good job.
It stands on its own.
Yeah,
and that's what makes a good remake. If it stands on its own, you have enough from the original to things like, hey, it's the original.
Yeah,
yeah, that reminds you of the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what really helps it is that, for one thing, they really did their own thing with it. They brought in their own set of very different characters.
Yeah, they changed the story actually quite a bit, but still had it to where you can tell it was part of the original. It would work in that universe, I guess.
Yes. But, well, and everybody's going to have their quips about it. Mine, as well as yours, was, of course, the fact that when was when your other male lead, when he first finds the book, and it's
like,
wrapped in
it's
plastic and barbed wire. And still, like, he goes through
cut
so
open
much
the barbed wire,
effort to open it and then read it.
Yeah. It's like, it says, whatever you do not read it. Do not speak any of the words on this thing. Do not write any of this shit down. Something bad will happen if you do it.
Much.
I should actually do this.
It's like, where's that part in your brain that says,
this one's like, maybe I should.
Probably better not.
Maybe just for safety's sake, I shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm going to do it anyway. Fuck it.
Yeah, but then again, there's also the fact of, well, if he didn't, there would be no movies. Yeah. And there was also the fact too that a lot of the gore was all heavily practical effects.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of CG.
No.
I understand that there's a lot of stuff that you can't do without CG.
Yeah.
But if you can do it practically, A, it looks better, and B, 9 times out of 10, it's cheaper.
Yeah. And I mean CGI gore, it's so obvious when it's CGI because it just looks so fake.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you were showing me Expendables 2 while I was visiting you.
Yeah, it had a lot of CGI gore in it, I know.
It was so heavily obvious when it was CG.
Yeah.
And because a lot of the time, like when you do a CGI sort of gore effect, and if it's not done very well, it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
Like something like looks off, or just doesn't look right, or just looks really, really dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's kind of the blame of the CGI. And practical really helps for a gore effect that's really made that's really meant to make you squirm.
Mm-hmm.
And Evil Dead Remake had a lot of that shit in there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that shit in there. So
yeah, like the scene where that guy almost gets that needle shoved in his eye. It's just
well, I mean, he practically does get stabbed in the eye.
Yeah, he probably would have eventually regained sight in that eye, but there for a while he would have been blind in that eye. Well, it was that frickin' close to his actual eye.
Well, and just getting stabbed with a needle in general, and then being beaten by the crowbar and then getting his hand chopped in half.
Yeah, that whole scene where he first gets hit with the crowbar and you actually see all of his fingers bend back and snap.
Yeah. Oh, God.
My hand hurt just watching that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the moment where that one girl saws off her own arm to keep from being possessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there was a lot of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of just various body parts just hurt just from watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, the Evil Dead remake was a surprisingly really good movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember I enjoyed somewhat the remake to The Hills Have Eyes. I saw the remake first. I never saw.
I haven't seen any of the Hills Have Eyes stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's two from both sides. There are two originals, and then there were two remakes.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailer for the second follow-up to the first remake, and it looked dumb as hell. So
isn't that like the one to where basically these army guys ended up getting captured by them or something?
They get lost in the mountains or something. They're on some sort of
survival training
they're not
or something
necessarily
like
army.
That.
They're like army volunteers or something like that. They're like National Guard or something like that.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be undertrained or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just looked and just sounded really, really stupid.
Yeah.
And But yeah, I mean, this whole remake machine has been going on for probably over the past 10 years now.
I almost say 20.
Well, I mean,
it's been going on a while. They've done some original stuff, but overall, it's mostly been remakes and reboots and.
Yeah. Well, like I just mean, for like the past 10 years, we've been getting them very consistently.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
There was the Black Xmas remake. There was the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street, the Thing prequel, which was,
I could.
They were hinting at the idea, like, oh, it's a remake. Like, no, it's a prequel.
Like,
and
from what I understand, not a very good prequel.
Yeah, it just looked. It just
I
looked
didn't
bad.
see it, and I could give a shit about it. Really.
Yeah, me too. There was also the Hitcher remake. I'm sure there have been a lot of other remakes that I'm not fully aware of, but I know there have been a lot of them, and a good majority of them have just been shit.
Awful.
And like they kind of start off with a good intent, like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake almost had a somewhat of a good idea where it, played with the idea of, maybe
he's
Freddy
not a pedophile.
Could do these things. Like maybe he wasn't a child molester, and then it turns out at the end,
no, he actually did. Yeah, I think that would have been a much more interesting thing to have been like, oh, he actually didn't do all that stuff he was accused of.
Yeah,
they basically killed him for no good reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that might have made for a much more interesting movie. Instead, they just decided, they're just gonna
they're gonna just kind of fuck you.
And and there was the fact too that like they showed way too much of his face.
Yeah. That was part of the charm of the first two movies, where you didn't see his face very often.
Yeah.
You actually saw very little of him. He actually stayed in the shadows.
Yeah. The Friday the 13th remake, I never really saw, but I just got the impression of it's Jason and he brutally kills people. That's it.
Yeah, I did, and it wasn't too bad. They gave it a little bit more of a backstory to it. Yeah. To where, like, the locals knew about him and knew how to avoid the areas that he haunted. Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting little twist on it, but overall, it was pretty much just him going around killing people, although he was capturing some of the girls and basically treating them like his dead mother.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Which is what happened to this one guy's sister, which is the whole reason why he was going back to Crystal Lake, was to try and find her.
Yeah. I think it might have been a little bit more interesting if it was, doing like what the original movie did, where it was these counselors that were going back to the camp, to help open it up, and then, maybe they get it started, some kids, are coming, or they're, at the camp and blah, 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 and then,
or actually do it like how the first one actually was, to where it didn't even involve Jason. It was actually his mother. Jason actually didn't show up until the second Friday the 13th movie.
Well, and, maybe they could have done it, maybe a little bit more differently, where it was Jason, and, like, maybe he's going around, and killing, some of the kids, like, and the counselors, and it's like, I don't know, maybe it's the mother of like one of the kids who goes after him and kills him or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have made
that would have been interesting.
At least different and at least probably a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. But,
yeah.
I mean, when I first saw the trailer, and it was like, hey, we're going to go up to this abandoned camp and go get stones. Like, gee, how original.
Yeah.
It just made me go, really?
Wasn't that pretty much the premise of just about every one of them's past past the fourth one.
Well, 2, I think they were going back to camp, to try to reopen it.
Yeah, they were actually
like the next few ones. I mean, I know in Jason Lives, they had kids that were at the camp.
Yeah.
And actually, Jason Lives is actually one of my favorites. Just because it's just kind of so silly and fun and such.
Yeah,
And
that's the 6th one, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one where he basically finally becomes supernatural.
Yeah. It was pretty much he was kind of alive.
Yeah.
Throughout most of it. Well, actually, I think the 5th one, it wasn't even Jason. It was like some guy just using the whole Jason legend.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't just that. It was that basically that the guy snapped. That he went nuts because his kid was brutally killed. And
yeah, it turned out to actually be his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically he just kind of dressed up as Jason, kind of used the whole Jason legend to kind of scare them and kill them at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another movie series that I've never really seen, but I've had some interest to. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
I think they might have remade that one too. I would be surprised.
But I've never seen any of it. So.
The original movie has a really interesting plot where it starts off in kind of backstory where this kid's his parents they get carjacked by a guy who's dressed up as Santa who kills the father and then rapes the mother and kills her.
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't psychologically scare the kid at all.
No, no.
Yeah, he'd be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
And basically, like all throughout the rest of his life, he's scarred, by the image of Santa. And I think through like whatever foster home or whatever it is that he lives and works through. They get him a job at the mall where he has to basically be Santa, and he snaps and he starts going around and killing people.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder why.
Now, I've never seen...
That's give the kid... It's like, I know, that's make the guy who's psychologically scarred by image of Santa because he actually watched the guy dressed up as Santa kill his father and rape his mother.
Yeah, sure, why not? Why not?
Let's make him dress up as Santa.
Yeah.
I'm sure nothing can go wrong. Oh, crap, he just went on a killing spree.
Shit. Well, you want to flip to see who has to go get him? But really, I mean, I think a lot of the notoriety for those movies really comes from the sequel because the sequel is just so god-awful. Mostly because of the actor that they got to play the brother of the kid. Because, and I know I played you an audio clip from the movie that's really famous, where he's walking down the street and he's just kind of like killing whoever, and there's this guy who comes out and he's taking out his garbage, and the guy says to him, "Garbage day," and then shoots him. It's just, what the fuck? But...
Like, what is he, a retarded Santa now? What the...
No, he's just, I'm crazy! But, no, and like, I never saw the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, but I remember seeing the box art for it when I was a kid, where it was like the top of a roof, and there was a chimney, and there was somebody dressed up as Santa who was climbing down the chimney, but all you see is their arm, and they're carrying an axe. And I just remember, that being like, ooh, I don't know if I should watch that movie. That movie looks really scary, and
yeah.
And then of course, the kind of the plot summary on the back for it. But
yeah, it sounds actually kind of interesting. I might actually have to try and find that now.
Yeah. I've heard, it's just a really good movie, basically.
Yeah.
And and it's always kind of interesting how, in some way, there are some seasonal uh, horror movies. I mean, obviously, most seasonal horror movies will often take place around Halloween, just because it's
Yeah.
appropriate. And then there are others that will take place around Christmas time.
And then, of course, the whole leprechaun thing, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss me, I'm Irish. But the only two horror movies that take place during Christmas that really come to mind to me are, of course, The Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Black Christmas. There were a few others. There was
there was one that took place during the Valentine's Day, but I can't remember the name of it. I want to say the Valentine's Massacre thing, but I don't think that's right.
I think one you're thinking of is My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That one had a remake to it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a few other Santa Claus Christmas-related horror movies. There was another one. I think it was called Christmas Evil, where it's this guy who, again, acts like Santa Claus, like he's going around and like watching how other kids act, and then proceeds to either give them gifts or punish them.
Yeah.
That one too. I also heard about from the Cinema Snob, and I'm sure there are a lot of others, but
yeah. Well, there's one that I can't remember the name of, but I think it like had that Jesse Ventura playing Santa, but he was basically like Satan's son. Santa is actually Satan's son, and only giving away
I think it was
presents
Santa's sleigh, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he was like only given presents because some angel made a deal with him. It's like, if I can beat you at this particular game, you have to like spend 200 years or so giving presents to people that deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Or was Santa's sleigh the one that had Goldberg in it?
Yeah, actually, I think it was Goldberg.
Yeah.
I knew it was some professional wrestler.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, because let's hire a Jew to play Santa. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, well. But,
yeah, Christmas has kind of become more of a corporate holiday nowadays. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to admit, when I think about Christmas now, more as an adult, I really miss the Christmas, when I was a little kid.
Yeah, where it actually kind of had that magical thing to it.
Yeah. Whereas now it's all about, I gotta go to the store, I gotta make up a list, God, I hate Christmas, blah, 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 blah. But hey, I mean, at least we'll get, turkey and, and like some, good treats and probably some good presents. Like there's no fun in it now.
Yeah.
It seems. I don't know. But,
we better actually kind of don't really get gifts for Christmas.
Yeah.
We don't really need anything. Most of the stuff that I normally would have asked for Christmas, I kind of get year-round now anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, trying to get back to...
yeah, we went off topic again.
No, it's okay, it's okay. If you could, what were probably some horror movies that you want that like you've seen but others haven't? Like, what were some that you think that you would want to recommend to some people?
I don't know. I'd have to really think.
Mm.
Well, there is one kind of Asian one called The Maid.
Mm-hmm.
That I would recommend because it is just creepy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set in China during the day that their dead kind of walks on thing. They leave offerings out
to
feed them and whatnot. And basically, this one girl who has kind of lived kind of a sheltered life didn't see all this, and she winds up being a maid for this older couple.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't know about this custom and just saw this food there on the steps and the thing and started picking it up, and I think she like gave it to like a dog or something. And I told her not to do that. And she winds up being cursed, so now she sees dead people. And this older couple has, kind of this retarded son.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get, to the end of the movie, and it turns out the retarded son is dead. And he wants a wife. And he used to, before he died, kind of killed his sister that this girl happens to resemble. So this older couple tries to basically make her his wife. It's just kind of creepy.
Yeah. Interesting. I haven't really watched too many new horror movies or anything like that. I mean,
it's not new.
Okay.
At least I don't think that. I only saw it like on tape, and the plot of it sounded interesting, and it was like $5. So
yeah,
you can't go wrong.
Yeah. I think if I had to make any recommendations, and this one actually came from a recommendation from another film reviewer from the bunny perspective, actually, a movie called Grave Encounters, and I think I told you about it, and it's a POV shot on video style of movie, and it's a ghost haunting movie, but it's done very well.
Is this the one where a bunch of people wind up in an asylum?
Yeah, it's part of their show where they go to these places that are rumored to be haunted or claimed to be haunted, and like they go there during the day, and they film around, and they talk about the history of the place, blah blah blah. But then also part of the show is that they're going to stay there overnight, and then in the morning, the guy who takes care of the grounds will come in and he'll let them out. Yeah. Well, when they stay there overnight, morning never comes. It just kind of stays night, like while they're inside. And then when they try to break down the front door, it just leads them deeper into the asylum. And then like all the food and water that they bring, it all goes rotten within hours. And there's just no way out. And it's just a really, it was just done very well. I thought it was really creepy. It was really scary, and had some really good characters. It had some very good acting. I think you can still catch it on Netflix Instant if it's still there, or you can go out to your local video store if there are still any around, and you can check it out. I also finally, quite a while ago, saw, crap, I'm forgetting his name. He directed The Thing.
John Carpenter?
Yeah, thank you. I love how I mentioned his movie earlier, and then I forget his freaking name.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah. I, quite a while ago, saw his Prince of Darkness movie. That was a really good movie, too.
No. Prince of Darkness.
That's a movie about... have you ever seen it?
I'm trying to think if this is like the same Prince of Darkness. The one that I can think of is kind of a semi-biography about Blob the Impaler, the guy that basically was the inspiration for Dracula. Because his name actually was Dracula.
No, that's not the same movie. But this one, there's this church, and like in the basement of it, there's like this giant vial or container that has like this like weird green sort of looking ooze stuff. And it turns out like what the stuff is it's concentrated evil. And like whoever comes in contact with it becomes the servant of evil. And basically, what happens is the priest of this church wants this group of scientists from this like local college to study whatever this thing is as sort of a basis between science and religion.
Mm-hmm.
And what begins to happen is like over time, like all of the inhabitants of kind of the city, like all the bums and degenerates and such, are being drawn, and they're sort of kind of made servants. And then slowly, one by one, some of the college students, they become servants. And what happens is one of the students is made into kind of a host that is meant to bring the devil over to our side, over to our world, and basically bring about the end of the world, basically.
Yeah.
And it's done very simply, and it's pretty terrifying and pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was good.
How old
is
this movie?
it was made in like the 80s. This was still during John Carpenter's heyday.
Ah, okay.
And actually has quite a few of his regular actors that he uses, like the guy who played Wang in Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it along with a few others.
Yeah.
Too bad that Kurt Russell isn't in it though. That might have made this movie a little bit more awesome, but still. Son of a bitch must pay.
Yeah, that would have been when Kurt Russell was kind of doing his one-liner phase too.
Well,
kind of that action movie type thing.
Well, and
which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, yeah. Well, and you know, I mean, that was basically still when Kurt Russell was king.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, I still have a lot of love and respect for the guy.
Yeah, well, so do I.
I don't know why, but
even if he did used to work for Disney.
That's not really a bad thing, though, as far as
no, he was like a kid. I think he was like a he started off as like a kid, and then he was like a teenager.
Yeah.
Still working for them, and just
and
did a lot of that good, wholesome family stuff that Disney used to do.
Yeah.
And still does to a certain extent, but yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know why, but Kurt Russell kind of reminds me of my dad a little bit. I don't know why. He just kind of does.
Huh.
It's weird.
I might have agreed with that if I'd ever met your dad.
I don't know. But yeah, there was that. There was a movie I saw some time ago that I talked about on a vlog called Dead Silent or Dead Silence. Done by one of the same guys who did the original Saw. Its premise sounds silly, but the actual execution of it is brilliant. Where you think it's one of those, haunted puppet goes around killing people. You're close, but not quite. It's not the actual puppet. It's the actual spirit that is going around and actually killing people.
Oh, okay.
And it's both in how the spirit is about to and both kills people. And then, when you see what the spirit actually looks like. Because, if you have a chance to check this movie out, do it. I thought this was just done just very well. So, but differences in opinion, but oh well. That's really all I can think of for right now so far for this discussion. We had a lot more to talk about when we first did this.
Yeah, we
which is kind of sad, really, but oh well. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
So, unless you have anything else to add.
Well, not really. Other
Yeah.
than overall, I still love the horror genre. I just wish
Yeah.
that they would do more like what they used to do. Make it more about the atmosphere and
Yeah.
I don't know, have actual subtlety.
Yeah. Well, and and like there's always a thing of oh well, you just hate change. Like I don't mind change if it's done right. But
I
but they're
don't
just
like
not really
things
doing anything.
where people are just getting killed just for the sake of violence sake.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like you really have to put in some effort, and the problem is they're really not doing that. It just seems like a lot of time they're just being lazy with how they do it, with how they execute it, and then the outrageous
I'm not in it just for the gore.
And it really doesn't help either that a lot of the movies that they do nowadays, whether these are movies that are, action movies or even horror movies in general, they edit and censor the shit out of them because they think like, oh, well, a horror movie should be rated PG-13.
It's like, no, it shouldn't. Yeah, it's like, yes, you can do a horror movie that's rated PG-13.
But who would want to see it, though?
Yeah, it loses some of that edge. Part of what, makes a horror movie horrible is the fact that you're going to see something horrific.
Yeah. Like, hell, I mean, could you imagine if they released The Evil Dead as PG-13? It wouldn't be
They would have to cut out a lot of shit.
Yeah. And, I mean, it wouldn't be The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
It would just be... Well, it wouldn't be Evil Dead. I mean, that's for sure.
It would just basically be these guys hanging in a cabinet trying to kick this one guy's sister's drug habit.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be every other
it'd be a
romantic drama that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
On Lifetime or whatever. Who knows? The Lifetime channel.
And they've done some good things, but not recently.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's all we have to rant and bitch about. So I think we will call this good for now.
For this month, anyway.
Yes. Well, hopefully, if we have our way, and hopefully if we can get a few other people to join us, we might be able to do a lot more.
Yeah.
Hey, so don't forget that if you guys happen to enjoy this, don't be afraid to hit the like button or subscribe. You can check me out on my blog over at I forget the name of it, but hey, I'm all over the place. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Blogspot, I'm on Manic Expressions, I'm on Spill.com. I try to spread my shit everywhere, just like the disease that I am. So we will see you guys next time. Take care. See you later, Andy.
Good night.